The pen slips from Callan's hand. It hits the floor, the sound too loud in the silent exam hall. 30 heads don't turn. They're already done, already confident, already moving on to question 12, while Callan stares at question 4 like it's written in a language he's never seen. His chest tightens. The numbers blur. He knows this. He studied this. Last night, he recited the formula 23 times in the mirror until his voice went hoarse. But now, nothing. The clock above the door ticks. Each second a hammer. His throat closes. Sweat pools at his collar, expensive fabric sticking to skin that's burning despite the air conditioning pumping through Harrington Crest Academy's pristine halls. Around him, kids in pressed uniforms scribble answers with the kind of ease that comes from never doubting yourself. Their parents are senators, CEOs, old money, new money, all of it the same to Callan because none of it stops the panic crawling up his spine like something alive. He's the son of Blaze Herrick, Forbes list, tech empire, mansions in 3 states, and he can't pass a 10th grade algebra test. The bell rings. Papers shuffle, chairs scrape. Callan's sheet is half empty, red circles already forming in his mind where the teacher's pen will bleed through tomorrow. He's the last one out. The hallway swallows him. Marble floors, trophy cases, a banner that reads, "Excellence is expected." He walks past it like a ghost. His phone buzzes. Father. Report card conference, 6 p.m. Do not be late. Callan's stomach drops. 3 days later, the envelope arrives. Thick, official, Harrington Crest's gold seal stamped across the front. Maribel Cruz, the housekeeper, sets it on the dining table without a word. She knows what it is. Everyone does. Callan sits alone in the library until he hears the front door slam. Blaze Herrick is home. Footsteps echo through the foyer, steady, deliberate, the kind of walk that commands boardrooms and crushes competitors. Callan's hands shake. The envelope sits unopened. Blaze appears in the doorway, suit jacket still on, tie perfectly knotted. He doesn't say hello, doesn't ask about Callan's day. He picks up the envelope, tears it open. His jaw tightens. The silence stretches so long, Callan forgets how to breathe. Then Blaze speaks. Below proficiency. Again. 2 words. A death sentence. Will Callan survive what comes next, or will his father's disappointment destroy him before he ever gets the chance to prove himself? The dining room feels like a courtroom. Blaze sits at the head of the table, fingers steepled, eyes cold. The report card lies between them like evidence of a crime. Callan doesn't look up. Do you understand what this means? Blaze's voice cuts clean. No warmth, no fatherly concern, just calculation. I tried. Trying is what people without resources do. Blaze leans forward. You have tutors, you have time, you have every advantage a child could want, and you waste it. Callan's throat burns. Other kids work jobs, struggle to eat, fight for scholarships. Blaze taps the report card. You have none of those obstacles, which means this, he slides the paper across the table, is a moral failure. The words land like a fist. Callan wants to scream that his mind goes blank during tests, that his chest locks up, that no amount of studying stops the fear. But Blaze doesn't believe in fear, only results. Your grandfather built this family from nothing, Blaze says. I turned his foundation into an empire, and you, he stands, buttoning his jacket, are determined to be the weak link. Callan stares at the marble floor. The veins in the stone look like cracks. Blaze leaves without another word. The house falls silent. Too silent. Callan sits there until the chandelier's light feels like an interrogation lamp. The mansion has 40 rooms, 16 bathrooms, a wine cellar worth more than most people's homes, and it's the loneliest place he's ever known. Hours pass. Midnight creeps in. Callan wanders downstairs, stomach empty, mind numb. That's when he hears it, humming, soft, warm, coming from the kitchen. He freezes at the doorway. Maribel stands at the sink, washing dishes, her voice low and steady. The sound wraps around the room like something forgotten. Kindness. Who is this woman who brings warmth to a house built on ice? And why does her presence feel like the only thing keeping Callan from disappearing entirely? Maribel doesn't notice him at first. She hums an old song, hands moving through soapy water, shoulders relaxed in a way Callan's never seen another person be in this house. Then she turns, sees him, doesn't startle, just smiles. "Late night?" she asks. Callan nods. Words feel stuck. "Sit." Maribel dries her hands, gestures to the counter. "I'll make you something." He sits because no one else in this house ever asks him to. She sets a plate in front of him. Leftover chicken, rice, simple, warm. He eats in silence while she finishes the dishes. That's when the side door opens. A girl steps in, younger than Callan by maybe 2 years. Dark hair pulled back, uniform from a public school across town, backpack slung over one shoulder. She glances at him once, no recognition, no curiosity, just a look that says, "You're here, I'm here, that's it." "Inez," Maribel says. "Homework?" "Almost done." Inez drops her bag on the far end of the counter, pulls out a notebook, and starts writing. Callan watches. Not because she's doing anything interesting, because she's fast. Her pen moves without hesitation. No erasing, no pausing, just steady, focused work that looks effortless. He's been staring at the same math problem for 3 days. She finishes a page in 4 minutes. Callan's fork stops halfway to his mouth. Inez flips to another page, reads, writes, moves on. No struggle, no panic, just calm. Maribel finishes the dishes, kisses her daughter's head, and disappears down the hall. Callan and Inez are alone. He should leave. He doesn't. Instead, he mutters, "How do you do that?" Inez looks up. "Do what?" "Finish so fast." She shrugs. "I just do the work." "I do the work," Callan says, voice sharper than he means. "I study more than anyone. And I still fail." Inez tilts her head, studies him the way he studied her. Then she asks, "Can I see how you study?" What will Inez see that no tutor, no teacher, no expert ever noticed? And will Callan let her in, or will pride keep him trapped in failure forever? Callan hesitates. The Herrick name taught him one rule early: never show weakness. But something in Inez's tone isn't pity, isn't judgment, just curiosity. He pulls out his notebook, slides it across the counter. Inez flips through the pages without speaking. Her eyes move fast, scanning equations, definitions, highlighted sections in 3 different colors. Callan waits. She stops on a page covered in formulas, notes copied word for word from the textbook, every line identical to the original. "You memorized all this?" she asks. "Yeah." "Why?" "Because that's what studying is." Inez looks at him. Really looks. "No," she says, "that's what failing feels like." The words hit harder than Blaze's lecture. Callan bristles. "I don't need—" "You're memorizing," Inez interrupts, voice calm, unbothered, not understanding. "What's the difference?" She taps the notebook. When the test changes the question even a little, you panic because you don't actually know what the formula does. You just know what it looks like. Callan's jaw tightens. She's right. He hates that she's right. "So what am I supposed to do?" he snaps. "I don't have time to reinvent math." Inez shrugs. "You don't reinvent it, you just rewrite it." "That doesn't make sense." "It does." She pulls his notebook closer, grabs a blank page. She writes out a problem, then rewrites it in simpler terms, breaks it into pieces, asks why before how. Callan watches. She doesn't lecture, doesn't show off, just explains. And for the first time in months, something clicks. "Tests don't measure intelligence," Inez says, setting the pen down. "They measure how calm you can stay when you're scared." Callan's chest loosens, just a little. So, how do I stop being scared? Inez smiles, small, real. I'll show you. What secret technique will Inez teach Callan that no amount of money could ever buy? And will it be enough to save him from the next test that could destroy his future? The next evening, Inez comes back. Maribel's cleaning upstairs. Blaze is in his study. The house hums with expensive silence. Callan waits in the kitchen. Inez sets her bag down, pulls out a blank sheet of paper, and slides it to him. "Write the hardest problem you've got," she says. He does. A calculus equation that's been haunting him for a week. She doesn't solve it. Instead, she asks, "What's it asking?" "I don't know. That's the problem." "No," Inez taps the page. "You know the formula, but you don't know what the question wants. Big difference." She rewrites the problem in plain English. No symbols, no jargon, just a story. "Now solve it," she says. Callan stares at the words, and suddenly it's obvious. He works through it, slower than usual, but steady. No panic. When he finishes, Inez nods. "Good. Now next time you freeze, rewrite the question in your head. Turn it into something you recognize." Callan exhales. "That's it? That's part of it." She shows him breathing techniques her mother taught her. 4 counts in, hold, 6 counts out. "Your body thinks the test is danger," Inez explains. "You gotta convince it otherwise." She teaches him checkpoints, how to pause mid-exam, reset, ground himself. No tutor ever taught him that. They taught content, not control. "Fear's louder than logic," Inez says. "You gotta quiet it down first." Callan practices, breathes, rewrites a problem in his own words. It feels strange, but it works. "One more thing," Inez adds. "Stop studying the night before. Your brain's already tired. You're just feeding the panic." "But You need rest." She packs up her stuff. "Trust me." Callan doesn't argue. A week later, he takes a test. The room is silent. The clock ticks. His chest tightens. Then he breathes. 4 in, hold, 6 out. The panic dims. He reads the first question, rewrites it in his head, answers it, moves on. No freezing, no spiraling, just focus. When the bell rings, Callan turns in his exam. For the first time in his life, he doesn't feel like he failed before the results even come back. He walks out of the room, hands steady, mind quiet. 3 days later, the teacher hands back the tests. Callan stares at the grade. B+, his first passing score in over a year. He looks across the cafeteria. Inez sits with her friends, laughing at something on her phone. She doesn't see him watching, doesn't know she just changed everything. But as Callan's grades rise, someone else is watching too. And when Blaze Herrick notices his son talking to the maid's kid, the real test is about to begin. The laughter reaches Blaze's study before he sees it. He stands from his desk, moves to the doorway, and peers down the hall. The kitchen. Light spills from the entrance. Voices carry. One of them is Callan's. The other is unfamiliar. Blaze walks closer. Through the doorway, he sees his son sitting at the counter, smiling at something the cruise girl just said. She's pointing at a notebook, explaining something with her hands. Callan nods, writes something down, then laughs again. Blaze's jaw tightens. Callan never laughs. Not at dinner, not in the car, not anywhere in this house. But here he is, grinning like an idiot at the maid's daughter. Maribel appears from the pantry, sees Blaze watching, and freezes. Their eyes meet. She knows. Blaze says nothing, just turns and walks back to his study, but his mind is already working. The next morning, Callan's counselor calls. "Mr. Herrick, I wanted to update you on Callan's recent progress. His test scores have improved significantly. We're seeing consistent B's now, and his teachers are noticing a shift in his focus." Blaze leans back in his chair. "Good." We're very encouraged, the counselor continues. Whatever changes you've made at home are working. Blaze hangs up, stares at the wall. Changes at home. He didn't make any changes, which means someone else did. That evening, Blaze watches from the second-floor landing as Inez arrives with her mother. She's carrying textbooks. Her uniform is wrinkled from a long day. She heads straight to the kitchen. Callan's already there, waiting. Blaze's knuckles turn white against the railing. His son is being helped by someone beneath him, and worse, it's working. He descends the stairs, walks past the kitchen without looking inside, but he heard enough. Later that night, Blaze picks up his phone, scrolls to Maribel's contact, pauses, then calls her into his study. What will Blaze say to Maribel behind closed doors, and will Callan lose the only person who ever believed he could succeed? Maribel stands in the doorway. Blaze doesn't offer her a seat. "Your daughter has been spending time with my son," he says. "It's not a question." Maribel nods once. "She's been helping him with schoolwork." "I didn't ask for help." "He did." Blaze's eyes narrow. "Callan has tutors, professionals, people I pay very well to do exactly what your daughter is apparently doing for free." "Maybe he needed something different," Maribel says quietly. "Different." Blaze repeats the word like it tastes wrong. What he needs is discipline, structure, not charity lessons from someone unqualified. Maribel's hands fold in front of her. She doesn't flinch, doesn't argue, just listens. "I appreciate your daughter's intentions," Blaze continues, "but this arrangement ends now. Callan doesn't need friends. He needs results." "He's getting results," Maribel says. "Because I provided the resources," Blaze stands. "Your daughter didn't fix him. The system I built did. She was just there at the right time." Maribel meets his gaze. Doesn't agree, doesn't fight, just nods. "Understood, Mr. Herrick." She turns to leave. "And Maribel," Blaze adds, voice colder now, "I think it's best if Inez stops accompanying you to work. It's becoming a distraction." Maribel's shoulders stiffen, but she doesn't turn around. "Yes, sir." The next morning, Callan comes downstairs expecting to see Maribel in the kitchen. The room is empty. He checks his phone. No messages. He waits. An hour passes. A new housekeeper arrives instead. Older, unfamiliar. She doesn't hum, doesn't smile, just cleans in silence. Callan finds his father in the study. "Where's Maribel?" Blaze doesn't look up from his computer. "She's no longer with us." "What?" "I made other arrangements." Callan's chest tightens. "Why?" "Because I did." "Did you fire her?" Blaze finally looks at him. "I made a business decision. That's all you need to know." Callan's hands shake. He knows. He knows exactly why. That afternoon, Callan takes a history test. Halfway through, his vision blurs. The panic returns. Worse than before. Without Inez, will Callan fall apart completely, or will he find the strength to stand on his own before it's too late? Callan fails the test. Then the next one. Then the one after that. Within 3 weeks, he's back where he started. Red ink, below proficiency. Teachers shaking their heads in meetings his father doesn't attend anymore. Blaze got what he wanted. Control. And Callan is disappearing again. He stops eating in the cafeteria, stops talking in class. His locker becomes a place he avoids because other kids whisper when he walks past. Thought he was doing better. Guess it didn't stick. Money can't buy brains. Callan hears every word. At home, the silence is worse. Blaze doesn't yell anymore, doesn't lecture, just looks at him like he's a failed investment. One evening, the mail arrives. A thick envelope from Harrington Crest. Callan opens it before his father gets home. Inside is an announcement. The National Academic Symposium. Every year, 10 students from across the country are selected to present research, compete in challenges, and meet with university recruiters. It's the kind of opportunity that changes futures. The letter lists this year's finalists. Callan scans the names. His isn't there. He's not surprised. But then he sees another name. Inez Cruz, Philadelphia Charter Academy, full scholarship recipient. Callan reads it 3 times. She made it. Without the resources, without the mansion, without any of the things Blaze swears are necessary. She made it. He stares at her name until the letters blur. That night, Blaze sees the announcement too. He's scrolling through news on his tablet when a headline catches his eye. Local student overcomes barriers to reach national symposium. He clicks it. Inez's photo appears. The article talks about her background, her mother's work, her determination. And then it mentions something else, a personal essay she submitted as part of her application. Blaze keeps reading. His face hardens. The essay is about teaching, about helping someone who had everything except belief, about cleaning houses she'd never own, and showing a boy how to think without fear. She doesn't name Callan, but she doesn't have to. The details are too specific, the timeline too clear. By morning, the essay has gone viral, shares in the thousands, comments flooding in, and someone recognizes the Herrick estate in her description. When the truth goes public, will Blaze's empire survive the backlash? Or will the son he underestimated finally stand up and take control of his own story? The calls start before breakfast. Blaze's phone rings non-stop. Board members, investors, PR representatives, everyone wants to know the same thing. Is it true? Did Blaze Herrick fire the woman whose daughter helped his son succeed? The essay spreads faster than any press release ever could. News outlets pick it up. Social media explodes. Billionaire's pride cost his son's future. Wealth can't buy humility. The maid's daughter who exposed a family's shame. Blaze watches it unfold from his study, jaw clenched, phone buzzing in his hand. He doesn't respond to the messages, doesn't release a statement, just watches his reputation crack in real time. Callan sees it too. He's sitting in the library when his phone lights up with notifications, classmates tagging him, strangers commenting. The whole world suddenly knows his failure wasn't just academic, it was emotional. Someone screenshots a section of Inez's essay and sends it directly to him. He had every resource, but no one taught him that fear was louder than knowledge. No one told him it was okay to be scared. So I did. Inez reads it twice, then closes his eyes. She didn't betray him. She told the truth, and the truth destroyed the lie Blaze built around their family. That afternoon, sponsors pull out of a major deal. A keynote speech gets canceled. Blaze's carefully constructed image as a self-made genius starts to crumble under the weight of one question. If he couldn't help his own son, what does that say about his leadership? Blaze sits alone in his study that night. No calls, no emails, just silence, the kind that feels like losing. Meanwhile, across town, Inez's phone won't stop ringing either. Interview requests, scholarship offers, messages from people who see themselves in her story. She ignores most of them, but one message makes her pause. It's from Callan. I'm sorry for everything. You didn't deserve what my father did, and I didn't deserve you. Inez stares at the screen, doesn't reply right away, just thinks. Finally, she types back. You deserved better too, from him, from yourself. She hits send, then adds one more line. If you want to talk, I'm here. Callan reads the message, stands up, grabs his jacket, and for the first time in his life, he walks out of the Herrick estate without asking permission. Will Callan find the courage to face Inez as an equal, or will shame keep him trapped in the prison his father built? Callan finds her at a park near her school. She's sitting on a bench, earbuds in, textbook open on her lap. He approaches slowly. She looks up, sees him, doesn't run, doesn't smile, just waits. I don't know how to say this, Callan starts. Then just say it, Inez replies. He sits down, not too close, just near enough. You changed my life, he says, and I let my father erase you like you didn't matter. Inez closes her book. You didn't let him do anything. You were just trying to survive. That's not an excuse. No, she agrees, but it's the truth. They sit in silence for a moment. The park is quiet, kids playing in the distance, the world moving on. I'm not asking you to forgive me, Callan says. I just wanted you to know that what you did, his voice catches, it wasn't wasted. I'm going to be better. Not for my father, for me. Inez nods. Good. And if you ever need anything, I don't need saving, Inez interrupts gently. I never did. Callan almost laughs. Yeah, I know. They talk for an hour, not about the essay, not about Blaze, just about life, school, what comes next. When Callan finally stands to leave, Inez stops him. You know what the real secret was, she asks. What? You already had it in you. I just reminded you it was there. Callan walks home, not to the mansion, to himself. And for the first time, he's not afraid of what he'll find. Behind him, Blaze Herrick sits in an empty office, realizing too late that the one thing he dismissed was the one thing money could never buy. Respect, earned through humility, not demanded through power. What kind of man will Callan become now that he's finally free? And will his father ever understand what he lost?